I'll just let you read that. I'll put up my LinkedIn profile. So please join me on LinkedIn. And if there's anything else I can do, you can just type in my name. And anything I can do, then please let me know. So as you see, we do provide a lot of our program project change management training today. We still do Prince 2 managing successful programs. But for me, I want to talk today about the Praxis Framework. So when we look at the world of project and change management, we've got this little thing in here, as you see. Ultimately, we are there to deliver something, a thing. And the problem is you have different methodologies, even from the same body. One calls them a product, one calls them a solution, something calls them an output, and somebody else calls it a deliverable. And all of them mean the same thing. So what we've had now over certainly my lifetime, different frameworks, methodologies that have come up to help us deliver what we call a product. Now that product may be a computer system, may be a new process, or a new building. And we're getting better at delivering the product. So when you see some of these other methodologies, they'll talk about how do we best deliver our products. The problem today, and I know HPCA are doing a lot of work, and you will see a lot of the mentions on LinkedIn about change management. The change management is the human side of organizational change. It's the psychology of change. And too often, change management is thought about somewhere here. We bring in external consultancy firms to help us design the products, but we never engage with our end users. So my thing is, right from day one, when we think about delivery of the products, we must also think about the change management. And so we transition from the old to the new way of working, and as a result, we deliver something called benefits. So that's really the world of project, program, and change. So as a result of that, we have in organizations, and that's really my experience, I'll share with you two things. And because our mindset has been very much about this is project management, and this is this is project management, and this is program management. And I worked with organizations for the last 15 years developing their corporate portfolio management office. And as you see, we have something called a program workbook, and we have something called a project workbook, which means intrinsically they are different. However, when we look at it, guess what they both have? They both have risks. They both have change management. They both have lessons log. They both have benefits. So actually, what is the difference between project management and change and program management? And I went to Richard Farrow, Ellie's boss, the CEO of APMG, and I said, Richard, I'd like to write a book. And those who know me will know why we talk about that book should be called Take the Bucket Away. If I have some time, I'll explain that concept to you. So I went to Richard and said, we would like to write a book on how to manage change initiatives. And this was about 5 years ago. Because I said, Richard, we don't see anything different between how we manage a program to how we manage a project. And he said, Raj, let me tell you a secret. And that's what Ellie said. In 2018, APMG decided to launch Praxis. Okay, I'll explain that. But for me, it was absolutely the right way to go. So, and as you see, there are different methods out there. You've got different project management methodologies. Prince 2, because of APMG, they are where they are today. Project Management Professional, a lot more recognized in North Americans. APMPMQ is another project management methodology. There is Agile, Scrum, etc., and of course, managing successful programs. And so what people are doing in organizations, and we've done it, so that's my bread and butter, we go and train people on Prince 2, we will train people on managing successful programs. We didn't really ever take on a PMP. And also, talking to people a lot on LinkedIn, organizations have been running courses based on seniority. When you start early in the organization, I've got some colleagues from the police and the health there, we've got graduates recruitment scheme. So graduates come in and they're sent on something called a project management course. And they're said, when you grow up, we will send you on a program management course. So we are starting to create that division in the organization right early on. And I found that quite difficult. And again, just going back to sharing my experience with you, 20 years ago when I first did my Prince 2, LE, my qualification 2002, I was looking at it the other day, I was asked by the training provider who I was as a candidate, said, Raj, can you do an overview project management course for me, please? I said, okay, I'll go. And I went to a hospital. My background, I haven't got into it. It's health service. I'm a microbiologist by my background. And I worked within healthcare for the last 44 years as a nursing auxiliary, microbiologist, etc. So when somebody says to me, can you go and do some work for the National Health Service? I absolutely love it. That's my world. So I also do a lot of work with private sector, but I went to a hospital and I did a 2-day course on project management. It went very well. I was then asked, Raj, can you do another course for them? I said, yeah, of course I will. So this time I got an email. The attendees were the chief executive, the medical director, the nursing director, the finance director. I thought, wow. Anyway, I went to do my training. And at the end of day one, the chief executive of this acute trust said to me, Raj, but we probably sit on a program board, don't we? Not on a project board. So can you tell us about program management? So fortunately, I was staying in the hotel that night and I had my book on program management and I literally spent 5 hours creating slides for program management. As I'd explain later, had I been talking about Praxis, I would not have had to do separate training material because the same training material covers both program and project management. Today, when I'm working with organizations, we've been doing it last 3 years now, working a lot with the healthcare. There are several acute trusts, mental health trust, commissioning support units who have actually adopted doing Praxis. And in the same session, we have people who are graduates. And also we have people who are past experienced program project managers because they have got previous managing successful programs or Prince 2. So for me, one of the key thing today is we don't distinguish the group of people. It's a fantastic learning experience. You know, having graduates who ask some very pertinent questions, which challenges people who are experienced. So we need to get rid of the concept of training by seniority. So what is Praxis then? It is, I'll show you just now, it is freely available, it is community driven. And as a training provider, please don't get me wrong, I'd much rather sell you 1, 2, 3, 4 separate training courses. But again, as I said, my background is health service. And I don't really want to be seeing our healthcare spending lots of money in lots of courses. So we would do what I call a Praxis course. And one of the key things, your certificate from APMG International says it's an integrated program project management course. So it covers, so what Praxis has basically done has taken a lot of these best practices and put it into a single place. So instead of doing discrete project and program management courses, we do a single course that covers both elements. But also what I like about it, I think it comes up, I'll come back to it later. It also has high-level change management. So in that course, you start to become aware of some of the change management aspects. We talk about some of the change management gurus like John Cotter, Lewin, Bacard and Harris, and I'm sure our colleagues sitting in change management know all about those. Likes of Herzberg, Maslow. So we're starting to Belbin, Tuckman. So we start to talk about not just this part, but also change management. And at high level, we also cover agile. So it's a single place that has everything there for us. Okay. So today, I don't work with organizations and have a separate project workbook or a program workbook. We have a single workbook called Change Initiatives. And that covers both program and projects. And as you see in here, we've created a stakeholder analysis with a stakeholder map, and you can see where your stakeholders are sitting. Those who are for the change, who are against the change. Okay, but you can do all of that, and it's a single workbook for both programs and projects. But also, today for me, the word integrated, it's really the heart of the healthcare industry that we're in. We have integrated care boards all across the country. We don't have disparate acute trusts, which my birth in the National Health Service, we talked about the old days of having area health authorities. But today we have social, and it's a healthcare board. So I do like that reason. So, and here's my little video I put together. Imagine you had to do 3 driving tests. 1 for rural driving, 1 for urban driving, and 1 for motorway driving. 3 different tests that use 3 different terminology. I much rather do a single driving course that does all of those, okay? Because here are some of the elements that the Praxis Framework talks about. The central elements to both program and projects are the same. 97% of the DNA is exactly the same. The only thing that varies is the level of governance. But everything else is the same. So for example, both need a clear reason. Both need to have good relationships with our stakeholders. Both need to make sure that the benefits are clearly identified. And of course, we need to close both of those in a controlled manner. So why do we do separate things? As I said, the only thing that is different is the governance. If I'm dealing with a program, I have a program board and I have lots of project boards, or I have standalone project boards. Okay, so what does it actually cover then? The Praxis Framework. It just gives an example of a program or a project, so I won't probably talk about this, but here we go. So the Praxis Framework is free. So what we'll do is easier to do that is we'll launch into the Praxis Framework and show you the live site. What it has, first of all, are 5 specific areas. It's free. If you go and do some of the other frameworks, you have to pay £70 for an ebook, plus another £65–70 for a hard copy. So those doing practitioner will pay £145 purely for the text. Here, as you see, it's all free. Okay, it's free. And of course, they're also going towards some of the artificial intelligence. And Adrian Dooley, you'll see, they've created some of these nice videos, I would say. It has something called the knowledge area. A knowledge area is everything we need to consider to manage a change initiative. Things like organization management, roles and responsibility, stakeholder management, scope management, requirements management, and right at the bottom, as I said, it also covers change management. The other most crucial thing that the Praxis covers for me, which is absolutely essential for managing change initiatives, are the interpersonal skills. What kind of leadership style are we going to perform? Are we going to be transactional? Are we going to be transformational? Okay. We talk about situational leadership. And also you'll see lots of hyperlinks, Hershey and Blanchard. You click on there, we'll talk about Hershey and Blanchard's style of leadership. So it covers all the essential parts which none of the other methodologies that I've seen actually cover. And I believe unless we organize these skills best, anyone and everyone could not be able to manage a project. So you can see the wealth of information. It's all free. You've also got the method section. For those people who've done Prince2, etc. in the past will know it has these things called processes. And somebody asked me a question at the last webinar we did. Does Praxis contain Prince2? Yes, it does. It also contains managing successful programs, and it contains a lot more. So it's basically not lost what was there. It's simply put it together. The concepts of integrated care boards. The two other headings are competency. So competency is individuals working on the project. How good are they at managing their stakeholders? Can they identify the stakeholders? Can they assess the stakeholders? So it provides a competency framework. And I'll explain a bit more of that in a minute. It also has maturity level assessments, and you can download the tool to see how mature you are as an organization in your capability for managing programs and projects. So when you register free, you will be able to download. Plus, of course, it's community driven. So you'll see, I'm not on here, but hopefully some of the others you will find. So there are a lot of authors, thought leaders who speak about, and I know Melanie has been working very closely with you on the aspect of change management. You've got Adrian Dooley, who's the author of the Praxis Framework. So you'll see everything that Adrian has done. And so you can actually download, you can read, or you can upload things. So one of our recent delegates said, Raj, why doesn't the Praxis Framework talk about this particular author, guru? I said, please write to Adrian Dooley. Ask him to put that on there. I'm hoping soon that will come up. I don't think, if you do want to, obviously you've got the glossary of terms. So if you think, what the hell is Raj talking about, and people find it, Team Praxis. Team Praxis, again, to me, is a fantastic, fantastic thing. And you here look at Team Praxis, which is available free of charge. It talks about people who are of different colors. And what are the kind of things they like for stakeholder management? What does somebody with red personality like? How would they want that information to be presented? How does somebody with green like that information to be presented? So when you are presenting and you're working with a team of different types, how best to contain your information, okay? So that's really the Praxis website. It's freely available, but also you can create a local version of the Praxis Framework. So you can download all of this locally, make it tailored to the way that your organization works. And I know there are some ways, there's no payment, but you have to acknowledge this open source and the technology. I think if you want technology, I'll get probably Ellie to answer, or we'll find the right person who can answer that for you. But we are going to be doing some presentation in the future, and we get somebody to be talking about local praxis. Okay, so you can see it's there, it's free, any of you can actually use it. So if you want to make a note of the Praxis Framework website, it's there, but I think it's also in my emails. So as I said, it's community driven. And one of the things was written to rally around the project management and initiative because I love it. Why do we love the Praxis Framework? It also provides route to chartered professional. Helen will give you a date and time of our next presentation when we when we get together. Ricardo Santos, the first person globally who went down the Praxis route 2. So this is the route 2 to APM receiving Chartered Project Professional Award. So as we said, it contains knowledge area interpersonals. So you do Praxis Foundation, Praxis Practitioner, and then Praxis Professional. Praxis Professional, what you have to demonstrate is your competencies. You know, too often people will do a 5-day training course, get a foundation exam on the Wednesday, practitioner on the Friday, and suddenly think they're project managers. We can see there are so many problems associated by simply having a badge. As you'll see with my grey hair, I'm getting quite old. I'm hoping that within my lifetime, in the public sector, certainly that we say everyone working on a complex project needs to be a chartered project professional. I missed the project bit in that here, is CHPP, Chartered Project Professional from APM. So Praxis Professional is the route 2. We got more and more people going down that route. And when you listen to Ricardo, who'll talk about his experience, when he sits in a meeting, he works for Irish Rail. And they say, what are you? He says, I'm a chartered project professional. And that's the end of any questions. They know that what value chartered brings. So these are the various knowledge area that it covers. As you can see, I've listed them all out. And so for us, we've created our Excel workbook that hits each of these. So in our Excel workbook, each of these is a sheet, and in a single place, we can record everything regarding a change initiative. Okay, it has processes for those who like processes. But I want to just go back a little bit and explain this. This is very important. And I feel this is a very, very essential part for those who are studying for Praxis Practitioner. If you have a past Prince2 qualification or a past Managing Successful Programs qualification, or if you have a PM, PMQ, or PMI, okay, you are exempt from Praxis Foundation. You go straight from here to Praxis Practitioner. Even though your qualification accreditation has expired, APMG have agreed that we will recognize those qualifications. You do what we call a bridging course. As I said, and because of that, in my courses, we have people who are past Managing Successful Programs and Prince2, they've done both. Some of them have expired, and we have graduates. So in the current course that we're currently doing, we have a massive number. We got almost 40 people who are on that course. 12 of them have no prior experience of project management at all. Another of the groups of those have got past either program or project or both. So that is your route. And once you have the Praxis Practitioner, Praxis Professional is not an exam. It is simply writing your curriculum vitae. So you're saying, when you were brought into that situation, what was the status? What did you do? And what improvements did you bring in? So I do believe it's a great way of demonstrating to somebody what you've actually done. And I think it's you know, when you talk to Ricardo, he said it was like writing his master's thesis. So I thought I'll keep this presentation small.
From the APMG point of view, obviously we brought Praxis training course and certifications to market based on the growing interest that we were seeing around the website. The website came first, our training courses and certifications came next, as a way of helping people to show their competence and capability in running projects and programs using Praxis Framework, because you still do need to be able to prove that to potential employers. So our training courses came later. We have seen really, really positive growth over the last couple of years in Praxis Framework, not only with public sector organisations, but private sector and all over the world. as well. So I think the latest translation of the training course and certifications was into Polish, and now the Polish market is starting to grow rapidly now that they have it in local language. So it's a well-established, proven framework. It is community driven, as Raj has said, so it does continue to evolve, and we continue to add to it. I've dropped a couple of links in the chat. One is to the website itself, where you can see all the content. Another one is to the LinkedIn page for Praxis Framework. I really recommend following that LinkedIn page, because you'll hear everything that's coming that's new from Praxis Framework. For example, the latest thing is they've been working on a chatbot, project management chatbot called Marvin, who will help people with their delivering their projects. So go over and have a look at what Marvin is and how he works, and how it's using Praxis Framework to help people, in the real world running projects and programs. But that's all from me. Thanks, Raj.
Thank you. Is a link to join the Praxis community. And I think that will also be helpful, because from the Praxis community, you'll receive a lot of updates and everything else. So Tara, I'll stop there and see if anyone's got any questions to ask, please.
Just wondered, timescales and the way that you would do this training. Can you give us a bit more information on what that takes?
Yes. The standard time is still the 5 days that people do. So we're trying not to change the model as people did before. But my recommendation, Tara, and I've been doing this for a long time, is I don't like my 5 days to be back to back. So my 5 days are spread over 3 weeks at least. So it gives people the opportunity to go away, having done the training, because we do day one organization management, which is roles on responsibility. That really confuses people. They say, Raj, we don't do anything like this at all. So it gives them a couple of days to go back to their workplace and say, you know what, how do we do it? What do we call it? Do we call it a product? Do we call it an output? Do we call it a deliverable? And then we build that up. And that's why if you look at our website, you'll see the same training course, the next one. I'm not saying if people do want to come, please let us know. But the one in April, for example, it's over 2.5 weeks. And the idea is to go away, make some notes, etc. Now, if somebody is extremely experienced in program and project management, then we can reduce it down to 3. So they don't have to attend all 5. So I have a lot of people who do day 1 and then do day 4 and 5. Because in between we talk about how to manage risks. And they say, Raj, I've written a book on writing risks. So, don't attend and listen to me. If you love my voice, come for 5 days. If you don't like my voice, just come for 3. So you've got the choice, and depending on where you are in your journey, Tara.
Thank you. Okay, so we do have
I'm a project manager for Sussex Partnership Foundation Trust, but I work for the allied health professions as part of that, and sometimes it can be quite difficult getting the organisational information that you need. And obviously, as part of this process, if Sarah's completing the foundation, I'd need to have that understanding. Have you got any guidance around how you can do that? So engage a bit more with the organisational kind of project team, because I'm kind of working independently from them a lot of the time. Yeah,
see, one of the things I've been promoting, and I did some work a long time ago. They were good. Milton Keynes Primary Care Trust, when they were around, and then in Oman. So Oman was for me one of the biggest experience, because they had 10 electricity companies, very much the culture of the integrated care boards. And my first session, my first 2 days in Oman, were working with the 10 chief executive officers of those 10 companies. So I explained to them the concept of best practice, but for me, the most crucial thing was setting up a corporate portfolio management office. And that was for all 10 companies. And that is my argument today. We have these corporate portfolio management office. They should not be at the trust level. They should be at the integrated care board level, because I want everyone in our board to be working exactly the same. Not have 10 different risk registers, have a single risk register template across all 10. And they did. It worked fantastically well. We did this work in 2012. In 2017, they delivered 5 major programs across those 10. So my thing, Sarah, would be for you to find out, is there an equivalent of a corporate portfolio management office. So whenever I talk to chief executive, chief constables of the police, and the comment that the chief constable of North Wales Police said to me 4 years ago, said, Raj, tell me this, why is it the Omanis can accept our language better than we can? I said, you tell me, you're the head of the organization. So they embraced that approach. So that's what I would suggest, Sarah, go and talk to them. But I have worked with some people from Sussex who've done Praxis training. So if you're welcome to send me an email if I put my email on here, and I will just introduce you to them to see where they are with their corporate structure. Because when people come on my training course, Sarah, I give them my copy of my workbook template. I show all the sheets. I don't put all the headings of the risk register. I just give you the first 5 because you need to go back. So yeah, I can, we can share that, and I do share that with people to do that in here. Okay,
that's great.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that does. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Raj, very much for delivering that overview for us.